the Ugandan community here, our brothers from the United States of America. Before I go any further, I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce my staff. On the extreme left is Mr. Seziwa David. He's our accountant, Embassy of Uganda to the Nordic countries. The lady in green is Princess Margaret Oteskov, Mombeja wa Ankole Kingdom. She is Second Secretary, Embassy of the Republic of Uganda, and she's responsible for trade, tourism, and investments, and she's the officer responsible for Sweden. So she's in the right place at the right time. Before I introduce myself and make a small presentation, I would like to invite Elizabeth Kalebi, the leader of the Malumo Group, to introduce her entourage. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador, for giving me the floor. Thank you, Gothenburg, for inviting us here. As the Honorable Ambassador said, my name is Elizabeth Kalebi, and I happen to have been the organizer for the Malumo Group. And I'll not take so much time. I'll just introduce my group, because we are on the same page, I think, with everybody here. Partly, maybe, we'll see in the discussions. And I'll introduce Miss Catherine Naigaga from Lund, actually, that is the Malumo Group. Mr. Timothy Chigonya, Mr. Kasim Singo, Ms. Shifa Michibi, and Ms. Sanya Batambula. And with that, I'll proceed to my seat and maybe give the Honorable Ambassador the floor so we can proceed with the activities of the day. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Chairperson and the Ugandan group in Gothenburg, we are delighted to be with you here for the second time. The first time was unofficial. I was moving to Stockholm. Then I passed by. I think that was about 6 weeks ago. My name is Zake Wanume Kibedi. I'm the new Ugandan ambassador to the Nordic countries. I made 11 months last week. I'll be making a year next month on the 3rd of May. The Embassy of Uganda is responsible for all the Nordic countries. And the Nordic countries, we talk about Denmark, Sweden, Finland, Norway, and Iceland. I've presented my credentials in the 4 countries of Denmark, Sweden, Norway, and Iceland. I'll be presenting my credential to the last country, Finland, on the 26th of this very month. The role of an embassy, or the Ugandan embassy in the Nordic countries, is not different from the mandate of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Our mandate is five. One is the representative role. We represent the interests of Uganda in the countries of our jurisdiction. When we talk about Uganda, it's the people of Uganda and their interests. We do promote trade, tourism, and investments. That is the second role. The third role is promotion of bilateral cooperation and cultural relationships. The fourth role is provision of consular services. And Margaret Oteskov is still the head of the consular department. Then we have the other role of mobilizing the diaspora for investment back home. And it's the reason we are here today. How has it started? When I came here, we agreed at the embassy to be making our agenda in advance, and amongst our targets for this first part of my term here was to see that we succeed in organizing the diaspora for investment back home. When we decided on this, we started with Denmark to introduce this subject. They were happy about it. They moved very fast, and they were supposed to launch their association because they have finished the constitution. They were supposed to launch it on the 26th of April. But just because they wanted to do it in my presence, and I'm supposed to be in Finland on this date, they've rescheduled to either 3rd or 10th of May. That's when they will be launching their association. For Sweden, I started with Stockholm. They moved very fast, and what halted them a bit was after agreeing that since in Sweden we have 3 cities where we have big number of Ugandans, we should also share with them the draft constitution to get their input, then we proceed. Otherwise, they had originally planned to launch this kind of arrangement by January. So I'm happy that the 3 cities are represented here, and when we complete the discussion of this constitution, we shall be able to agree on when to launch it. I was in Iceland in January this year when I went to present my credentials, and fortunately, Iceland, we were able to achieve many things on the same day. Because it's a small number of Ugandans living there, they are only 45. So they were able to elect their leadership, and the last information I got from my desk officer responsible for Iceland was that they've completed drafting their constitution, and they are waiting when I will be next in Iceland to launch their association. Norway, they had already registered their association. It's called UAN, Uganda Association in Norway. But after introducing this matter, they thought that they should come up with another arrangement, another arm specifically for investment back home, because some of the Ugandans living there hadn't yet subscribed to UAN, yet they were interested in this kind of arrangement. So we agreed with them that they formalized that, and the last information I got from the desk officer yesterday is that they are ready with everything, and they will be launching it in May, because I'm going to be in Norway from the 15th to 17th of May. So Finland, we are finishing this on the 28th of April. That's when I'm going to Finland. I'll be meeting the Ugandans there. They also registered in their association. They have a population of about 135 members. We shall finish with them, I think, that very day. Hence, when we are done with every state, we shall be able to agree on a date when your leadership or even members that will be able to come together to see that we launch this association. And according to our roadmap, we thought that if it can be done by August, it would be a good opportunity for us to see that we start implementing on the activities. Why organizing you for investment back home? The reason of organizing you is that besides what government has come up with, government has come up with a policy for the diaspora. You've been remitting, as the chairperson, Stockholm, group talked about it. You've been remitting big sums of money back home. Last year, it was 766 million US dollars. But these remittances you are sending back home are spent in unproductive activities. Just imagine that this 766 million US dollars is being spent on productive activities. You could see that our economy would raise further than the current economic growth rate. Because currently, our economic growth rate is 5.1%. An example I've been using, wherever I've been meeting you, is that 3 years back, when they contracted out the construction of the new power dam in Uganda, the project was for 400 million US dollars. This project employed directly 2,000 people. And at that time, I was in Jinja, I was living in Jinja, because by the time it started, I was in Parliament. And I used to commute from Jinja to Parliament. You see that Jinja and Injeru towns, the activities there raised, the economic growth raised in those areas after this project. Right from accommodation, talk about any business, be it shops, be it barber shops, be it any business. It was growing up until now. The accommodation rate and the standard of living in Jinja has never gone back below that of Kampala and Entebbe. So assuming this was just one project, employing 2,000 people, assuming the diaspora were organized to see that every year, this 760 million US dollars is being invested in productive activities, the growth of the middle class in Uganda will be at a very high speed. I've always told people, fortunately some of you are economists, that what brings to the growth of the country is the growth of the middle class. The more activities, economic activities you have in society, the more employment you create. The more employment you create, the more production a country comes up with. And the more productive you are, that is how you get the economic growth. So, it's the reason we are here today, to see that despite all the differences we may be having, why can't we get together for a common interest? Those of you who participated, who joined us during the Independence Day celebrations, I made a statement, and in my statement, I gave accountability of how we are also promoting the other areas under our mandate, promotion of trade, tourism, and investment. We are also doing that. We resolved that every year we shall be holding annual business forums to promote Uganda in the Nordic countries. We had the first one in Copenhagen on the 19th of September last year. This year we are having one in Stockholm in October. I think it will be from 19th to 21st of October. Then in early 2015 we shall be in Oslo. Then the other year we shall go to Helsinki and Reykjavik. But why are we organizing this? Tourism. We are holding a tourism forum this year, next month, on the 23rd of May. We are doing this, and the first one was an experiment. After doing it, you see that many business people, many companies from Denmark have made their first business trips to Uganda. An example I can give, there is one company called Holdotopso. It is one of the world's biggest manufacturers of fertilizers. They have 60 plants world over. They don't have any yet in Africa. So, after the embassy engaging them, they made their first trip to Uganda. And when then they get established in Uganda, they are going to directly create 1,000 job opportunities. Indirectly, they are going to be 10,000 job opportunities. And out of their production, they are going to produce more than what Uganda can consume. So they are targeting East and Central Africa. And according to their business plan, project plan, they are going to be, the exports are going to be helping to improve on the balance of position of Uganda. So we are trying to attempt to that also, but we are not yet happy with what is going on until we also get you, the Ugandans living here, participating in the investment back home. The statement I made during the Independence Day celebrations, that however much we get investors, Nordic investors, to go back home, without you, the Ugandans being part of it, our cup will be half